crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. I'm your host, DZ, and thank you for joining. Smash that like button on the way in. Every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money with Bitcoin and digital assets. And today, it's a Friday stream. We're feeling good. We're getting ready for Bitcoin Vegas. And then we woke up to Trump destroying the markets. And I'm joined today by Josh and TJ. Josh, how are y'all feeling today? How you feeling about the Trump tweets?
Well, the Trump tweets, look, we get them every other day. So, I feel like I'm used to them at this point. But
I miss the days of hey, little Rocket Man tweets,
Yeah, hey, little Rocket Man, or, all the name call. He hasn't came up with a new name call in quite a while. I'm waiting for anyone like
everything was better before 2020, I guess, back in the mid-teens, our teenage years.
Oh, man. Yeah, some are calling it the Trump chaos. We're going to cover that. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to look at some altcoins, and we got some major news with SWI. Now that the fallout has happened, people are calling SWI overly centralized, and we're going to break that down in a discussion as well. But let's go ahead and look at the markets here. I'm going to hit refresh. Bitcoin with a little bit of a pullback, but has been pretty bullish over the last hour. When we go to the 1 minute chart, you can see when Trump tweeted, just creating tons and tons of chaos. Markets finally found a little bit of a bottom. It's crazy saying this, found a bottom at $107,000. So good job there. Looking at the 2-hour trend line that we identified, still holding strong. And remember, if we zoom out, there's another line above us. I would say keep an eye out on this range right here. And we'll discuss what these circles mean in a little bit there. But yeah, a lot of other activity in the markets here. ETH took a little bit more of a tumble than Bitcoin. It fell 3%. Solana looking bullish. Solana's up 1.1%. Tron down 3.4%. Justin Sun's attendance at the Trump dinner must not have pumped the markets. We're going to talk about the Trump dinner. And how about that hype? Hype is up 15%. Nice little move there. Probably going to be the biggest gainer of the day. Followed by WorldCoin, but Jupiter. We do like Jupiter. And then we see virtuals. So I feel pretty good. Told people about virtuals last night and identified it as one of the risky picks for the videos here. Prepare for alt season. Top 3 coins to buy in June. And so good job if you jumped in and followed on that one. Trump, though, way down after the dinner. Trump is down 13%. And then we have Caspa, Pi, and SWI. All with a little bit of a pullback. And you know what? I also told people to buy Solana in that video. So, hey, take a little bit of a pump there. Josh, what are you seeing in the markets today? Anything exciting?
I mean, we got a lot to break down just from a macro perspective, but I mean, is a healthy little pullback. For me, I'm pretty much just watching the liquidation models, which are looking quite healthy on these markets right now. We came back down to I just refreshed it. This computer is back at 103. We're not at 103K Bitcoin anymore. But when you're looking at the 12-hour here, yeah, look at this. I mean, liquidation starting to open back up all the way towards $112,000. 112K is the resistance now. But dude, we're hitting all-time highs all weekend. And I mean, this is not even a pullback. This is a healthy little correction. Came back down to 107, got some liquidity at 108, got some 110. I would say, really, if you guys want to be scared out there, you guys want to be scared. The only thing I really would be scared of would be the futures gaps that are very, 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 very far below us now at 96K. So, those would be really the ranges I am watching here. But again, I mean, I'm not too bearish here. I think the bears are completely gone. I don't know where they've been or how they're doing or if they're okay. We've sent out help alarms and we've been putting up missing person reports all over town. But in terms of the price action here, we're at 110K Bitcoin. And I do think that Bitcoin dominance that you could be looking at here is looking a lot weaker. So if we can really get that rejection here, and oh man, I think Ethereum is going to be above 3K soon. And I think we're going to see a lot of altcoins moving to the upside.
Yeah, we'll grab this super chat here, Adrian, about Near. If you guys want to start pulling some stuff up on that. I mean, we generally like Near. It's a solid project. But I did want to show this real quick too, because speaking of it not being, out of what was expected, we've got, oops, wrong button. There we go. This here from Quentin we've been following that M2 money supply, right? And Bitcoin's correlation to it. Well, it was right on this dip right here was right on track. The orange is the Bitcoin price, the green is the money supply. And right here you saw a sharp drop off and then immediate correction. And now that's almost exactly what we saw. This was the sharp drop. It's hard to see here. That orange is the sharp drop. And we've already started correcting through it. So right on target, right on par with the M2 money supply. I really do think it's that easy. It seems to be tracking with it perfectly. And it is, the technical levels we're calling for a little bit of a reset or a cool down. Trump coming out and making these tweets at this time, I think has a lot to do with the bond markets, which we'll talk about in just a minute, because there's some really interesting correlations to as soon as he makes a tweet, bonds do this, and then Bessent comes out and says something and bonds do that. So, but let's look at Near. I know it's
I'm very, very bullish on Near. Near was in a different position when it launched 2021. Actually, 2020. It looks like it launched October 2020. So when Near launched, there weren't that many strong L1s. And then every 3 months, it seems like a new L1 was being created, being spun up. So when SWE is launched, that's going to take a little bit of attention from Near. When Barra chain, when you see all these chains being launched, it's going to steal some attention here. But I am pretty bullish on Near. And you can see, after Trump's election, it shot up very quickly. Trump was elected, the first week of November, went from a $4.5 billion market cap to about a $10 billion market cap in the matter of 1 month. And so Near can add $5 billion to its market cap in a month. So I wouldn't sleep on Near. That'd be my 2 cents.
And it's one of those stronger, it has an AI narrative built in. It's kind of like as far as the top projects, Render and Near seem to be ones that are well known in the AI space. So I think kind of like we just saw with virtuals moving and some of the ones DZ just mentioned earlier in the show, we'll see Near. It'll definitely, I would say, very easily reclaim all-time high, if not much further than that, and the next 6 months. So it's a good project.
And I do think there's going to be what I would be excited for. Have you guys seen this yet? The VO3, and let me actually, that's VO2. Let me show you guys VO3 here. This is actually really scary. Because I don't know if you guys realize what's about to happen. This right here, this is insane. VO3 is the new AI model. Everything you see on the screen I'm about to show you this is AI. They aren't real people.
Wow.
This is rendered through Google VO3. It just released. I've been messing with it. I was creating scenes of like Batman versus Iron Man that don't exist. Essentially, after I show you this clip, essentially where we're gonna be at within probably the next 4 to 5 years. Imagine you're on Netflix and you have a favorite TV show, and your favorite TV show ends. You want another 3 seasons. Well, you could literally Google prompt your seasons to pretty much be generated. Now, maybe we're not 3, maybe we're 10 years from that because of rendering and capabilities. But look how realistic this is coming out. And version 4, they say, is right around the corner.
They just have a long ass forefinger, but yeah, it looks very real.
Is there audio?
There is audio. It does audio. It does audio. Oh, let me turn it up. It does audio, sound effects, everything.
I'm not getting any sound.
Do I have to share the?
Yeah, either the tab or the window.
This is insane. Yeah, it's so like this is the next GPT moment. It's just kind of like one of those holy shit types. Here you go. Hit it.
Wild.
So this is all prompted. Someone literally just prompted in like 10 seconds. Guy interviewing girl on the street. Here you go.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Oh, y'all got to give them that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
So it's still like, you can tell it's AI, obviously.
It still sounds, it's like what an LLM would say, not real.
From where we were a year ago to, remember the Will Ferrell or the Will Smith spaghetti noodle AI imagery? They did that again in this prompt. And again, it's like, there's still obvious things that are shifting. But the amount of rendering we're going to need, and we need massive energy deregulation, because to process this type of, it's like, I bought it. It's like $500 for 3 months to render, not that much. So we're still
I need you to edit Will Smith eating spaghetti and Chris Rock slaps the heck out of him.
At the same time.
Noodles flying.
What's going to be wild is the creativity from the fans. So I see this here. I can make multiple endings of Game of Thrones. Imagine if we were at a point where immediately after that last episode came out and everybody hated it, there was hundreds of alternate endings out there that kind of had a very, maybe not the same level.
Yeah, they can actually
quality,
make it mean something that John was a Targaryen.
Exactly.
Well, it's just like, think about it. Like anything you want to do. I mean, this is shocking to me in terms of like the video production front. I mean, graphic designers, video editors, like they're years away from really like needing to reduce workforces. Like this is disruptive technology. It's massively disruptive. Like think about deep fakes or propaganda. That's what I'm worried about. Imagine the propaganda in 3 years. Like you already have half of your boomers freaking out over like I don't know if you've seen the grandma playing GTA or watching a GTA
I've seen
footage on like TikTok. That was a viral
that. She
video.
thinks it's the
was,
local news.
yeah, she thought it was the local news and people are just going around beating people up, which isn't too far off the truth. But like in 3 years, when it's like you could put Hillary Clinton literally kicking like a starving child or something, like it will look identical to reality, and that could be huge in terms of chaos for a lot of these cultures out there.
And just to bring it
yeah.
full circle, the main reason you're bringing that up is because projects like Near and Render are going to be needed to get
Boom.
this technology to the next level. So,
or hopefully keep like, I see Jack Dorsey saying like, let's remove IP. Like he wants to get rid of IP and like copywriting. It's like deep fakes are going to be so scary here in the next few years, and you just need to be ready for it. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, and if you want to prepare, I would say this is actually a real advice. Read as much sci-fi from Neil Stephenson as you can. He's kind of credited being one of the first authors to mention a crypto, one of the first authors to mention a metaverse, and he's been pretty salient with some of his points. So go check out that. He's got a lot of dire predictions there. Number one, people will hire companies to make bad AI slop, so then no one can know if something you did was real or not.
I think that's absolutely on point. If it's probably already happening on some level, you flood the main way to obfuscate information about yourself on the internet is to flood the internet with disinformation.
If you were at a Diddy party, the best way to hide that would be to create 100 fake edits of you at a Diddy party, and then you just say, "Oh, it's one of the fake ones."
Yep.
I gotta show these two because I want them to see the range to this. Like this one is
not a Diddy party.
This one, no. Yeah, it's actually live footage of Justin Bieber. No, look, this one. This is an AI prompt of a kid playing Fortnite. Like, definitely off here. But just what you're gonna be able to do.
He's trash kid. Get good.
He's trash kid. Get good. It's just it's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind. I've been messing around that prompt. I'm trying to do what, and you'll see this, guys. I'll try to put them out. I was talking to TJ on this, trying to get like an AI like news broadcaster to talk about crypto, but like the words and the prompts and everything are all messed up, or like he'll be talking and all of a sudden like he throws up like a word or something. It's
some of y'all try and get us canceled with the prompts you'd be making.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Trump here. We can't even share them here. Trump though, let's talk about Trump nuking the markets this morning here. President Trump threatened imminent 50% tariff on all European imports, as well as a 25% levy on imported Apple iPhones. So any iPhone not made in America. Risk assets, Bitcoin among them, fell sharply during the morning hours after Trump reignited what had been a cooling trade tensions, floating along 111,000. Bitcoin quickly fell 2.5%. Now, this is the post. The European Union, which is formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the U.S. on trade, has been very difficult to deal with. Their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, et cetera, have led to a trade deficit with the U.S. of more than $250 million a year, a number which is totally unacceptable. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st. That's about a week away. There's no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the U.S. Thank you for your attention on this matter. And here's Trump waking up this morning to nuke your portfolio. Thank you very much.
He was checking. He was checking his shorts. He was setting his short positions on L Bank, and then said, "You know what? My short isn't going well. The Bitcoin's pumping too much. Let me fire off a tweet."
Yeah. So the markets did not like it. Now, I did like this take on iPhones. iPhones are going to hit 3,000 before Ethereum does.
Oh, got him.
And still, yeah, no, there's not even any updates to Apple. It's just the version 17.
Yeah.
Which kind of feels, it's like the Pectra update. Is it actually going to matter? We'll see.
It'll matter.
Well, it mattered to the markets, at least this morning.
It'll matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what happened, going back to the Bitcoin price here. Let's stretch this out a little bit. On the 5-minute chart, I mean, you can see the market's just not a fan of this. Also, stock market's open slightly in the green. And then after the tweet, all futures, went deep into the negative. And now it looks like,
about to be back at 10K.
Trying to recover. Yeah, trying to recover. Now, I did close any longs. I have, but I mean, maybe we can do some with fart coin. I don't know. What are we looking over? But I'll tell you what, if we spike above this level, I'll do a 50x short. So let me know if you see it start
shorten
spiking,
the
chat.
fart coin.
Yeah, well, let me
short it.
Getting
while we're
risky
on
with
this,
shorts. You don't want to be wearing shorts while you fart. You know.
I got your trade war post here, TJ,
Okay.
as well.
trade war.
I don't know if that's what you're talking about. This one right here.
Perfect. Yeah, hit
I'm
that.
reading your mind.
Because
Simpatico.
that's what I think this is really all about. So
the trade war is back just as the 10-year note yield crosses above 4.6%. This morning, he threatened the 25% tariffs on Apple and 50% on the EU beginning June 1st. Now yields pulling back sharply as recession worries resurface. Drops in yields on this announcement will give more of a reason for Trump to prolong the trade war. As we've said multiple times, a trade war accomplishes all of his economic goals at once. Lower rates, Fed won't cut, so he gets them to cut the hard way. So this is maybe Trump's 3D chess to lower interest rates.
yeah, I agree. I think this is part of, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the week or maybe yesterday, that they may want to create the feeling of a recession because it gets the result they want. That's the only thing that's getting these bond yields to go down, is when there's uncertainty. And it also puts more pressure on Powell to potentially cut the rate. So immediately after that tweet, we saw the bonds react that way. And now
I was going to check the Fed rates here. Maybe the June or July decision. Maybe July might be able to see some here. We go to the 1 week.
Probably not on the short term.
It won't be until he announces the China trade deal. But
well,
I think
and
it's September is now when everybody's protecting the cut. It got bumped 90 days from June.
And here's what's really interesting is Bessent came out and made this announcement not 30 minutes later. The 10-year note was up 6 points after Bessent's comments. Immediately as markets turned lower after Trump's 50% EU and 25% Apple announcements, Bessent touted trade deals on Fox News coming, and it seems he missed the memo that tariffs were intended to lower the yields. Bassett just undid the decline in yields. So basically, then it went down, but then it went immediately back up. So here, it was at 4.4, and 3.9. Now they're almost back to even. They're still down somewhat, but it does seem like they're going to prolong this out until we start to get the results that they need.
Well, I think it just goes to that last line there, which is the trade deal headlines are not helping. Like, they just want to see results. So it's like, if the India trade deal gets announced within 7 days, that's going to impact it.
Right, but it's pushing them the wrong way. When the trade deals come in, the bond yields go up. When people have confidence, or more confidence, like, oh, it's not going to go into a recession. And the other thing that's interesting is they've completely shifted, and I agree with this too. Notice how they've shifted from we're going to cut spending to we're going to grow our way out of it. He's down here talking about how we're going to grow the economy and control the debt, which is always what happens. They all come in under this, like, we're going to spend less, we're going to cut the deficit, we're going to balance the budget, and then they get into it and they go, you know what, we're gonna grow more and we're gonna make more money, and we're gonna use that to get to balance things over time. And so it keeps coming back to, they're gonna print a lot more money, they're gonna print trillions of dollars, they're gonna say we're gonna be able to afford this debt at some point, and we're doing X, Y, and Z to try to bring things back into alignment. And the bottom line is, every administration, which is what we were saying yesterday, prints more money, creates more dollars, and the buying power of the dollar goes down and asset prices go up. So at the end of the day, this will be great for Bitcoin. This will be great for securities or equities or any assets you hold. But if you're in dollars and cash, you're going to get wrecked. And so it really does absolutely destroy the middle and lower class, or really destroys the lower class, makes it much harder to get out of the middle class for anybody else who's trying to fight their way out. So that's why we're here telling everybody all the time, Bitcoin is your exit strategy. The best way to get out of poverty, get out of being a slave to the dollar, is to hold Bitcoin. And it's coming with force. 200K Bitcoins programmed, 1 million Bitcoin eventually. I know it sounds crazy when I say one Bitcoin is going to be $1 million, but it will be probably sooner than you think. And it's all because they just never stop printing dollars. I mean, the easiest way to say it, it sounds crazy, all these little cliche lines, but Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. That's just the way it works. They're never going to stop printing fiat, ever.
And speaking of no stopping the train here, there looks like Bitcoin might be poised for an imminent breakout, everybody. This was Crypto Amsterdam finding this, 132,000 followers. Seeing the pump that started the tail end of 2024. This is after Trump got elected. We found a little local top, came up retested new all-time highs in January, came back down, and then fell to the downside. Now, if you look at what happened the early part of 2024, we're seeing a very similar structure. And look what happened on the second half of that. Bitcoin poised for a huge coiling there. And so this is kind of it right there. You can see finding just a downward trend here, hitting against it, kind of consolidating, and then races, hitting against it, kind of consolidating around it, potentially could be off to the races there. So feeling pretty good about a nice potential Bitcoin correction. And I wouldn't be surprised if we came back down and just tested this range. So, maybe hit here and then bounce to the upside. Pretty similar to what we saw here. Didn't quite come, but I think, you can probably stretch that yellow bar there, support that shoots above, come back down to one retest, and then it's just jumping off the diving board into Profit Town, into the profit pool.
Hey, that works for me. Profit Town.
Speaking of Profit Town, look at that Swedish health firm. This is going to shock you on how little Bitcoin it took to move their stock. So it's a Swedish health firm and also a Chinese electric vehicle seller are buying Bitcoin. But the numbers are what's crazy here. So it's a Swedish health tech company, H100 Group AB. Exciting name there. They rose 37% after it purchased Bitcoin for the first time as part of their new strategy. Also, China's Juicy Holdings revealed its plan to stack 1,000 Bitcoin over the next year. So the Swedish company spent less than $1 million, $490,000. They only bought 4 Bitcoin, but then the stock pumped 37%. And I'm pretty sure there's some CEOs, some CFOs that are looking at their stock price, and they're like, they just spent $400K and just shot their stock market or their stock price 37%. Other people are going to replicate the strategy. Now, if we go to the Chinese electric vehicle here, it's a NASDAQ listed retailer. They said their board has approved the plan to buy 1,000 Bitcoin over the next year through additional stock issuance and cash purchases. So we're seeing more and more dominoes fall when it comes to adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet there. Very, very bullish for Bitcoin, everybody.
It is.
Now,
we just had this happen too.
Breaking.
Well, I
Smash that like button.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, this is just an interesting governor of Texas here. Greg Abbott, or maybe not governor. Yeah, he is the governor. Yeah. Moves to establish strategic Bitcoin reserve, a new era in the state of finance. Just more bullishness, just like we're seeing in different companies adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Now seeing states getting very excited about it, and really all signs look bullish. Not saying we're not going to have short-term pullbacks. There's a lot of people watching levels like 105 right now. That seems to be a local area where we could go back down and retest, especially over the weekend. But that actually would be nice if we go down over the weekend, then I have a CME gap to the upside. That's nice to come into on a Monday. So.
All right. Well, are we ready to talk about the Trump dinner? I know Chad is. Chad's got a lot of strong feelings on this Trump dinner.
Was this Trump dinner bullish?
Bullish for whom?
Yeah, great question.
Just bullish. Was it bullish?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
I want to know why.
I think it creates more negativity than positivity. One, Trump's already positive. I don't think having the dinner, he's going to go to the dinner and everyone's just going to give him so much adulation. He's like, I'm more bullish on crypto. I think it's a net neutral for Trump liking crypto. So it doesn't really change the needle too much. But detractors of crypto gives them much more ammunition.
Needle's positive. So your overall thesis is that it's an ST.
Yes.
It's AIDS for crypto.
You got it.
It's contagious. It's
orange. It's an orange boil.
Yeah, no, let's talk about this.
All right. Well, first, a
watches,
lot of people talking about Justin Sun seems to be one of the big winners here. Trump gifted Tron founder Justin Sun a golden watch for being the top Trump holder. We're not going to do the sound here, but this is just a quick 30-second. We can kind of just watch it, talk about it here. This is Justin Sun's promotional 30-second video. It's funny just seeing, everybody trying to get a picture with him. That guy is synonymous there, obviously. There's Trump, or there's Sun getting one of the 4 watches. The top 4 holders they received a watch. So fancy, look at that. They got the white gloves. So it looks like, that's a pretty cool box.
I want to know who those other 3 guys are. Who's
so one is going to be a Korean. We got some details on that.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked there. So one's going to be a Korean meme coin founder. So pictures are giving us glimpses inside the meme coin holder dinner. So images for the top holders of his meme coin. Show attendees were treated to a 3-course meal and given gift bags. We got the menu, folks. Maybe we'll do a taste test. No. So they said they'll not publish the guest list of those that attended, but Tron CEO Justin Sun, Magic Eden CEO Jack Liu, and Bitmart CEO were among those sharing snaps of the dinner held at the Trump National Golf Club in Virginia. So this was at Trump's personal business there. This is the menu. Let's see here. So maybe I'll open it up in a new tab so we can zoom in a little bit more. So you see Trump organic field green salad. The entree, you could get a filet or you get pan-seared halibut. Chat, where are you going with? I'm going
Filet.
with the steak.
Yeah, I'm going with the steak.
Steak all day.
Steak all day.
If
Steak
you
all
choose
day.
halibut over filet mignon, you probably don't eat gluten.
Well, some people were, bitten by a tick that might have been weaponized to stop people from eating beef, which is a
That's-
real thing.
Yeah, that's
They got to stop
that's a good
people
old
from eating
Missouri
cows.
leg bite there. But yeah, no, steak all day, man. I don't know. I'm not like a huge fish guy. I'll eat fish, but like if I can have steak over fish, I'm choosing steak almost.
Warm lava cake, filet all day, steak. Everyone's all about throwing out the steak emoji there. Love it. All right, now back to the article here. So looking here is the post. We just looked at that video there. So pretty cool video. Bloomberg reported that around 100 protesters gathered outside the event and jeered the attendees as they arrived at the premises. I think we also got the video on that.
Why?
We're not going to play the audio.
I can't who has time for that, and what do they think they're accomplishing? Like just booing
Stop
people as they walk in.
Crypto corruption. Boo.
I will say the demographics of the Democratic Party are, quite diverse.
What's that one
Protesters
say?
are always white.
No. Go back to that image. That one says no. Can you zoom in on that?
No Constitution,
God,
no
Constitution,
no
US.
justice, no peace, no freedom. Then evil and chaos.
No
Democrats.
freedom as he stands on the front lawn of the White House.
Well, he's
holding a
calling for socialism. And
what is the guy to
we
his
got some
right wearing?
news
A
about
trash bag? Is that a
socialism.
trash bag? That's a trash bag to the right, right?
He's
got-
stopping the rain.
trash
Ain't
bag
nothing,
over him.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Man,
stopping the
powerful-
rain there.
There we go. I like this one. We got the pink umbrella. I'm pretty sure these are just staffers. That's good. They said 100 showed up. That looks like 10.
I'll say it's not representative of average Democrats. If you were to grab a group, here's the rest of the video. Keep scrolling around.
Oh, they're on the other side
You'll
of the-
see more protesters across the street, and here you go. Stops Trump's crypto corruption. He's all happy about it, like, I'm happy America's not for sale. Let's see, looking around. Let's see, what does that say? Democracy is not for sale. Trump grift gala. That's good, Brandon.
Okay, that one's
like
good.
that one.
That one's
That's
better.
Good. That's good. Grift
That
gala.
one's better. What else we got here? Oh, okay. I like the
Ooh.
Donald Trump coin back there. I was
Yeah,
a little
evil.
mad there.
That's
why-
probably
how does this-
unironically a meme coin.
How does this guy have a pocket on the back of him?
Yeah, I was
A
wondering.
weird spot. His backward jacket here.
It's a back jacket pocket.
Let's see what else we got.
I would
Okay,
say
here we
it's
go.
probably likely they're paid to be there.
Oh no,
That
definitely
doesn't
not,
quite
definitely
match
not.
the demographics of spontaneous protests.
nah. What was this on a Wednesday? Wednesday midday.
Yeah, well, no, it was last night, right?
Last
Or
night?
no.
Was it last night?
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
was
was
last
last
night.
night.
It
That
was
was
Thursday
yesterday
night.
It
afternoon.
was Thursday. Oh. Well, hey, shout out to I don't know. I don't know what else to say about those people. That's how they spent their Thursday evening. That's fun. That's fun. But either
Well,
way,
yeah, the protesters, some are calling for his impeachment, some calling for his removal, others demanded financial reform in
says-
the U.S. And they're kind of mad about the Trump-linked entities. Looks like they've got over $100 million in trading fees at this point. So
someone goes, "This is AI generated." We won't even. To be honest, we won't be able to know. We
no,
won't be
their
able to know, so
opinions are AI generated.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
We got a
That's
super
very-
chat
I
here
don't even know if
from
they're AI generated or if they're just they're a prompt. They're just USB. They're given the same copy paste pattern. But
So
hey,
it's J282 says, "Hey guys, heading to the Bitcoin conference next week. Are you guys doing any kind of get together? Also, recommendations on top things to attend. I mean, there's plenty of top talks. I know JD Vance is going to be there. Their keynotes are really good. So you know that's great. I'm sure there's a lot of side events. I mean, we're going to be there hanging around all week doing all sorts of side events. We're not planning anything special. We might have an impromptu meetup that we'll probably put out on the X account. So if you guys aren't here, I'll drop that in the chat right now and put it in the description, or it already is in the description of this video. But I'll pull that in, and then we might decide to do something randomly. Just have we're having something for some sponsors at our place, like a cookout or whatever. But maybe do like a fan meetup. follow.
And
We'll
Nick,
also be
we
at the
are going to talk
conference.
about the banks creating their own stable coin. So we got that story as well. That one's very, very important as well.
Yeah,
Just
that's
banks,
big.
DeFi, some people get, they like the exciting things first, so we got to give them the candy before we give them the medicine here.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's now this is a little victory lap for myself here. CZ refuting claims in that latest Wall Street Journal article. What was I saying about that Wall Street Journal article? It's not passing the sniff test. Something about this, is kind of screaming propaganda here. Well, CZ, he agreed. He pushed back against that latest article, calling it a hit piece filled with inaccuracies and negative assumptions. The article suggested CZ facilitated introductions for World Liberty Fi leaders during foreign trips, including a visit to Pakistan that resulted in a memo of understanding with a local official. CZ said, "I'm not a fixer for anyone." He firmly denied that he connected the Pakistani official, Mr. Saqib, with World Liberty Fi or organized anything. In fact, they had known each other way back, World Liberty Fi and Mr. Saqib, whereas I only met him for the first time in Pakistan. So they're literally saying, oh yeah, CZ's hooking up these meetings, hooking him up with his friend. And he's like, no, they're friends, and I just met the guy today. So you're like literally just lying, not asking for any kind of clarification there. And so, we're seeing a lot of just FUD and not credible reporting out of the Wall Street Journal. I canceled my subscription probably about 6 months ago. No looking back. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, there's very little good reporting, right? I mean, everybody's just basing off fear monger. I mean, again, look where we come from 6 weeks ago, right? The whole recessionary World War III, end of the world crisis is taking place. And now today it's weird. We're at $110,000 and everybody still feels like we're in a bear market. That's primarily because, we've said it here time and time again. This is an institutional market. This hasn't been retail oriented whatsoever. Retail is broke. Cash is trash. Their dollar value is dropping continuously. But it's going to, you'll start to see it flip. And, you can start to see it actually on this chart right here with just top net flows moving into these markets. And right now, it's people keep betting against Ethereum. They keep saying that,
yeah, that net flow chart is crazy.
It's all ETH, right? And why is that? Well, one, I mean, you can argue it's tokenization and some other developments on that platform, which I argue that's part of it. But what are the two big two that are part of these institutional ETF inflows now? And again, that is going to be Bitcoin and followed immediately by Ethereum. Past that, interestingly enough, let me know if you guys hold any of these in the chat here.
It's hard to see. It's kind of small.
Oh, I got to switch to this.
I got it bigger here.
Oh, here you go.
It's because of size doesn't matter. Okay, DZ. Okay.
Arbitrum, Unichain, Polygon,
Barrachain, Say Network. But it's interesting that Arbitrum has a mass amount of inflow. Parachain and OP Mainnet with the biggest net outflow. Solana number 3 there as well. Now that's on the 1 month here. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this. Does this coincide with like the most used chains, or is this some people should be worried about?
I'm trying to struggle to find the person who's like, man, I got this asset on Solana. I really need to go to Sam Altman's World Chain. Yeah. Who is this guy? I'm guessing that's VCs.
I do like this meme on the right side. Ethereum summer. that's pretty good. But yeah, no, it's who just bought a ton of World Chain. We talked about that yesterday. They just bought a mass amount, like millions of dollars, hundreds of millions.
Yeah, they're signing deals in those
A16Z, right?
AI16Z.
Yep.
So, a lot of people, in fact, I was listening to something and it gave me World ID ad. And I think it was I was listening to Scott Adams on Spotify yesterday or the day before. It's like a World ID.
I'm just waiting for the day that they partner with like Delta or something. And then you walk into an airport, it's like clear. And like, you don't even realize your data is just.
Yeah, every time.
I can't wait till my humanoid robot just carries me like a swaddled infant.
I can't wait till we get like that number ID on our arm. Like we get the scan and everything.
The mark of the beast.
Limitless, not that one.
Yeah.
No, it's it feels like that's coming though, which is very very worrisome.
It is.
Yeah, I'm banking on that. Now let's talk about banks. Everybody, that was a ham-fisted segue there. We're talking about the bank stable bill, but first, there's a lot of, let's just say, fear to be had here when you're looking at some of these numbers here, looking at banks. That might be, if I could show this here, unrealized gains on investment securities. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm gonna try to show it for you because they're.
Do I need to add to the stage?
Just add a stage hit. Yeah.
Wait, what are you trying to do? This? Sorry.
There we go,
There
everybody.
we go.
Breaking
Hey.
U.S. banks. U.S. banks currently facing almost $500 billion. $482 billion in unrealized losses, an increase of 33% from the prior quarter, with rates now skyrocketing. These losses are going to increase. So this is going to be a lot worse a week from now. Banks, particularly small banks, are in trouble. And this is, this is a normal thing. You see a little ebb and flows with interest rates. They're buying 3-year notes, 10-year notes, or 3-month notes. And sometimes, interest rates changes. So you're like, all right, well, let me start getting rid of these 10-year notes, and slowly you get back into profit town. But this is just egregious. This is just ridiculous. And a lot of banks have held to maturity. They are not in a good position.
Yeah.
So this is going to be
Specifically,
bad. We might
good
see
thing
more
that it's
small
on
banks
a-
collapse.
Well, even big.
on a
I mean,
decrease.
a one who's really
Crazy.
big part of that graph is Bank of America. They've got huge unrealized losses.
Yeah.
But the thing to point out on this is look at 2008.
Bank.
That was the 2008 financial crisis. See how little they were in unrealized losses back then?
It's an ant fart.
Right. And then look at what happened leading up into 2020. They were down in 2018, 2019, led to the big print in 2020. And that's how they got back above water then. And now look at where they're at. And so it's just like they didn't, with these rates, if they don't come down, they have to roll that debt over like DZ was talking about. They're in a really, really, really bad position. I mean, we really are in full-on Ponzi mode. There's no way these losses are getting paid back. They can only restructure, refinance, and keep kicking the can down the road, just like the United States government as a whole, which is why they have to print trillions of dollars every single time. So they've got new money to continue to make these payments, to continue kicking the can down the road. But that graph right there is a perfect example that shows the swings are getting bigger and bigger, and the prints are getting closer and closer together. So again, 2008 to 2020, you had some time there. Now 2020 to 2025, way less time in between, way more amount of money needed to be printed. And this is why you guys, you got to get out of the dollar. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you buy, but don't sit in the dollar and expect it not to go down, because it's going down.
It is going down like young jock, everybody. Now let's talk about the bank stablecoin consortium here. We got big banks teaming up. Big banks including JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo teaming up to launch a shared crypto stablecoin. Oh, not per the Wall Street Journal. Oh, no. I don't know. We'll see if this is real or not. But there's a couple other entities that I wanted to mention here. So it's all those U.S. banks that we just mentioned. And so this was also cited by Cointelegraph here. But there's not all. We also have Zelle, early warning systems as the parent company of Zelle, and the Clearinghouse, which is also a payments network. But this is still in its initial phase, and this is going to depend on regulatory developments and overall market demand for the stable coins. And so that's kind of where it's at right now. But I will say these are very, very powerful entities. And if they do team up for a stable coin and team up with Zelle on top of that, just looking at more stable coins being issued into the ecosystem. And when you're in the stable coins, it's just a little bit less friction to buy Bitcoin. And then that's going to create more buying pressure. And hopefully more and more people onboard themselves onto this financial revolution, because they're going to be missing out as they basically destabilize our dollar. We start getting worse and worse into this debt spiral. And we're going to be at the point of no return if we're not there already.
Have either of you guys watched Mr. Robot?
Yeah, I
That's
couldn't
one
get
of-
past the
yeah.
plot holes. I don't want to give away the spoiler.
Yeah.
So never mind.
Uh,
It's been
couldn't
a
get
long
past
time.
the
It's been a
plot
long time,
holes,
but
though.
I have seen.
But he's Huck here on X talking about how this is literally the eCoin narrative, which is, digital money more or less, when the one big corporation runs, has everybody's money and can blacklist everything. And it's definitely getting interesting. The stablecoin bill getting passed, the banks are all coming in. They will have a big stablecoin. Will they come in and try to say Tether and Circle aren't compliant and try to say, oh, you can't use them in the US, you have to use JPM coin or Bank of America coin, or they'll call it USDC. They've got the best one, USD coin, but they'll come up with something, USD1. Everybody has to use Trump's USD1. Elizabeth Warren will lose her mind.
I think you're going to see partnerships. So I think that was actually just announced as well, and this is what we've been predicting, is the banks are going to have their own stablecoin.
Mhm.
It's not that you're not going to be able to use others, is they're going to set up all their payment and their off ramps and on ramps utilizing theirs, because they want the transaction fee, they want the control, they want to be able to track. They're going to meet AML, KYC, whatever those money transmit, like whatever it is, they're going to lobby their way into regulating it to where you almost have to use
That's
it.
what I meant.
Yeah. And
They
that's-
will use a regulatory moat to force people into their coins, most likely. Yeah.
But that's hopefully where you'll see me later this year on the podium being like, hey, fuck you. Like, at least we can fight a little bit. But, and there's just going to be plus and minuses to this. Like, we're not going to slow down. We can't slow down. Right? So as AI and we move towards this world and it becomes more demanding, like there's going to be other opportunities. We need to make sure that we can stay in those opportunities. And at least this is a chance We've been speaking for this for years and years and years. We knew this day would come. As soon, remember when people were super against BlackRock and then they started praising BlackRock because they're like, oh, pump our bags, right? Like the whole mentality shift. They're like, oh, we need decentralization. Oh, except that the chains fails. We want that centralized so you can freeze and give us our money, right? So it's always going to be this kind of give and take. And it's like that famous quote, give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And that's what you got to be cautious of with the government is when these lobbyists come in and do regulate and do put in a new legislative piece and they give them that inch, it's going to give these banks. The banks are the government in this case in terms of lobbying for the financial sector. So you give the banks an inch, they're going to take a mile from retail. And that's what we got to protect ourselves from. But it does, there's a lot of positive science here. You do have a lot of leaders out there that are at least vocal for retail. So I'm at least optimistic, but at every single point, you have to be cautious. It's why CBDCs, I was laughing about them 3-4 years ago. I was like, these are smoke and mirrors. Well, they're going to be like, oh, we're going to establish all these anti-CBDC bills and we're going to be pro stablecoin. And everyone, like this bill passed with almost any retailer. Type 1 in chat if you know what the Stablecoin Act actually is about. Type 2 if you have never read it, right? You've probably never read it. And so as all this anti-CBDC narrative came out, they just walked right on by with their new stablecoin legislation. So that's what we need to be careful of moving forward, no matter what the adoptions.
Nick Gailey is asking a very serious question here. If banks make their own stablecoin, why would XRP ever be used?
That's what we've been arguing for years, DZ. I think TJ went on a rant.
Yeah, don't get me started.
That's why they're trying to buy a Circle, because they realize, and arguably this could be because of Gary Gensler suppressing them a little bit and they weren't able to get that first mover advantage like they once had. But they understand that, yeah, when BNY Mellon comes in, when JP Morgan comes in and they start using their own stable, all of a sudden you don't have to rely on RLUSD. So again, it's a huge competitive market.
What happens if Bitcoin hits 1 million and a ton of people sell off? Well, if there's more people selling than buying, the price will depreciate. We saw the same thing when we hit near all-time highs. Saw a little bit of a rejection somewhere near 100K. There's going to be buyers that are ready to step in, though. Why don't we talk about ICP and how's the strongest tech in crypto? Caffeine AI is coming in June. Yeah, ICP, people love ICP's throughput. They love the transactions per second. People don't like the price action here. So when we go to ICP chart, hit max, just looks like a lot of charts there. It had a higher peak in the first half of March versus its peak in November. This, to me, is kind of looking like the new 2021 metrics. Did you have a higher high in May versus November? Maybe it's not going to do too well for your token because it looks like the whales, they're just not there. They're kind of dumping the token. And so when Bitcoin, had a nice little pump in March, this was off the ETF news, but Bitcoin had an even bigger pump off the Trump victory. And so when I see a lower high, I just don't like seeing this in the chart there. But I'll say this, that looks like a pretty good curve bottom there. I expect this to at least hit the peak there.
The other thing I would mention on this, and
that's market cap, by the way.
Yeah, don't click on price.
Don't click on price. Yeah. But other thing I would say is, tech isn't everything. Like they may have, I don't know if they have the best tech or not. I would argue they possibly don't. But even if they did, you still need infrastructure.
You need a network.
You need an ecosystem. You need users on your chain. You need applications on your chain. You need, at least some DEX volume, some DeFi. That's usually what gets things off the ground in this space. So
I bet this looks good on like the 3-day chart, though.
Yeah. ICP to me has never really gained any critical mass. Is that's gotten my attention. Like I know a lot, like DZ said, a lot of people like certain things about it when it comes to the technical. But I just haven't seen anything special. Like a scam. It just seems like one that just kind of is slowly dying. And there's still people out there that have been super fans of it, that are super fans for a long time. But it's never really done anything that's gotten my attention.
No, and I've even given the alpha for you guys on the maybe it's changed now, but when I was working with their marketing, and not even working with, I just felt so bad because it was Bitcoin Miami 2022 or maybe 2023. They went to go give away hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and they spent literally $500,000 to fly out their entire team to go give this money out. They had no booth, no idea, no marketing, no nothing. They just had 12 people show up to, or not 12. There was a lot of people show up to this conference to give away this Bitcoin and had no idea what they're doing. And all of the people that they're paying $60,000 to $120,000 salary were begging us for hey, can you please help us push this out here? Please, 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 please. They didn't know what they're doing. And then in that same time, At Code and State, I was at their conference for ICP, which they're one of the largest funders and like groups out there. They were like fighting with the founders on stage. There was like a lot of drama within this, and then there was like rumors that not rumors is that it'd be true, but like hot or not, like a lot of these apps that were being built on it were just like people that were being given money because they were the brother or the sister to somebody that they knew through the grant program, and they all ended up being like kind of Ponzi like projects under this like weird tokenomic structure. So I was turned off from ICP's community very early on because of that, but I have to agree with Easy. Again, there is a lot of value to it. Definity is a massive team. I'm sure it's going to go back up to 10, 15 bucks. I think you'll see a pump move with it. It's got a very, very strong core community. People live and die by it, man. I mean, they literally think the ICP is going to reshape and revolutionize the future of internets. Will that happen? Probably not in my opinion, but you will see some growth from there.
Yeah. I was gonna make an ICP Insane Clown Posse joke. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want crap on the ICP.
I want to do that to the Insane Clown Posse, man. Come on.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
You know, you saw what they did to Eminem.
Yeah.
And again, I want to say, guys, like, someone goes, is it cooked? Like, that was just my experience with them a year or 2 years ago. Like, so that could have shifted. I have no idea at this point anymore.
The chart looks great to me.
So yeah, from a TA standpoint, like Easy says, you got some upside there. But I don't know anything about the marketing since then. So hopefully they've changed, and
I'd be looking to get aggressive. Be getting aggressive with some profits in that area.
What's that price? $12?
Let's just see if it hits in say September. Yeah, you'll be looking around $10. And you know, if it were to just teleport there within a couple weeks, you'd be looking at $12.
So
yeah, I would say my thing is that there's probably much better projects that, like, look, if you're looking at this, when you're looking at market cap, you've got ICP or Ondo. Which one do you think you'd rather? You know, both sitting very similar in market cap, 35 and 36 on CoinMarketCap.
ICP or Ondo?
Which one would you rather put your money in? For me, it's Ondo, no question. I don't
put it in ICP over ETH Classic all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Fair, but I'd choose Caspa over ICP. You know, they kind of have more relevant niches, and I'd choose Trump.
Trump coin is gonna probably outpump all of them.
Well,
yeah,
and
I'll choose
all
Trump
I would
over
ask, like on any project, is which project's marketing's better, and that's it.
Yeah,
you know, it's the famous line, like, you could have the cure for cancer, but if nobody knows it exists, nobody's going to use it. Like, that's
Ondo having BlackRock behind him. That's my pick, and so like that's, to me, I think the where I get off board with it when it comes to ICP is when I start comparing it to other projects. Like, you can, if you really want to make a case to buy it because you're just in love with it and somebody convinced you, you can make a case to buy it and hold it. But if you start comparing it to Near, to Aptos, to Ondo, to Renders right in that range, Mantle, Athena, VeChain, I mean, there's almost everything around it I'd rather hold than ICP.
People are wondering, you know, I know you like the product, and so does TJ. What is Josh drinking?
Yeah, those yerbas, man.
These are, TJ got me on these, and it's because we've pretty much, I've quit energy drinks entirely, but it's the yerba mate tea. So still got caffeine.
150 milligrams of caffeine, all organic, all natural.
Organic, exactly.
You don't feel...
It's actually like a third way to derive caffeine. There's tea leaves, there's coffee beans, and then there's these mate.
And I have to tell you guys, I've like
plant.
felt, I mean, I'm sure these still aren't good to an extent for you, but like switching completely to these, and then just, I've been hitting the gym a lot on creatine, gaining weight, like feeling good. I feel way better. Minus today, I mean, I'm a little sick from the the traveling I've been doing, but these were a great way out. It was hard to switch kind of the first few days because this doesn't have like a flavor punch, like a
doesn't have the zip that
it doesn't have that like
energy drink.
Tells you it's like
it's probably better for you.
Rockstar. Dude, those are like crack, dude.
Yeah.
They're like crack. So, but once you switch for like a week, now I'm addicted to them. They taste great.
That's all I drink now. I always drink one of those before the stream, and then my electrolyte water during the stream, and sometimes I'll have a second one of those. But
yeah, so I'm going to Josh again. My goal, guys, I'm going to hit 200 pounds, but I want to look like a beast in a suit, so that way when I'm in a political room, I scare people. That's what I want.
Is it hanging out with Sam Arms?
Oh,
you
yeah.
want bigger arms?
It's so yeah. I want to, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. Politicians, when they
sugar
say he has the tightest shirts in crypto.
There are that flavor specifically that we drink, I think, has 2 grams of sugar. So there, some of them do have sugar, but you can find the low sugar ones. That mango flavor has.
I go with H2O and hot bean juice, aka black coffee. That's probably 99% of the fluids I intake.
I just don't drink coffee. I can't drink coffee, so
you can't.
I'm one of those
I did want to pull up this chart here real quick. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. I can't drink like Starbucks coffee, but my wife, dude, we got her a beautiful like espresso machine. She just makes best coffee. But
Did a Trump brand the way you're describing it there? It's a
it's a,
beautiful,
it's a
beautiful,
huge,
big,
beautiful
Yeah.
coffee maker.
It's
Best
orange.
coffee in the entire globe.
Best
Yeah.
American made, no
Ma-
tariff.
right.
Like,
Oh, that's
this is
ICP
the
Bitcoin.
ICP Bitcoin chart, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
Just buy Bitcoin.
Hasn't even found a bottom. Like it's.
That's-
Oh my god!
Well, that launch was a failed launch, but
Yeah, but even take the launch out. It doesn't
yeah, I
look
mean
good.
that's not great.
I
looking.
just,
Just buy and hold Bitcoin, guys.
just
Hey, let's all do a little simultaneous sip. For Scott Adams here, we're all
Actually,
praying for
for,
Scott here.
the steady bug.
All right, let's all take a sip.
Oh, Scott Adams. Feels so
There you
good.
go.
Y'all ready to talk about SWE, everybody? The
Oh, dude, I'm
SWE
SWE-licious.
centralized.
I'm sweelicious today.
All right, so SWE validators, we covered the hack. Well, the validators have frozen now the majority of the stolen funds in this $220 million CETUS hack. I just want to share their comment here. A large number of validators identified the addresses with the stolen funds, and they're now just ignoring those transactions on those addresses until further notice. The CETUS team is exploring paths to recover those funds and return them to the community. And now people are saying, well, SWE is clearly over-centralized. I do not like this chain anymore. But
Oh my god! Stop crying.
Oh my god! I literally didn't know. Ooh, we're gonna move it to right here.
Ah,
Swear to God. I swear to God.
I didn't know this was a.
I was like, wait a minute, what are the odds? And then I saw the ad. I was
what are
like,
the
you
odds,
fucking
man?
kidding
People
me?
breaking up
Sweet
families, people
influencers.
breaking up chains. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is
That's wild.
crazy. Yeah,
That's why I
that's
had no idea. But anyways, talking about crypto decentralization
That's
is a
crazy.
lie. Or it's cropped. We're promised pure decentralization, unstoppable code, trustless systems. Turns out most major chains have hit the brakes when things went south. ETH.
Yes, you don't talk
Don't bring it. Don't bring it. Don't bring it. Moving on. Move forward. Move forward. ETH hard forked in 2016 to reverse
Wow.
the DAO hack.
Oh,
That's what created ETH Classic. So ETH literally became two different chains. ETH Classic was the original code. It was a hacker stole it, and Vitalik was like, well, let's just change the rules of Ethereum. And then that's why we ended up getting two different Ethereums there. Also, Solana paused their entire network multiple times. February 23rd, September 22. The reason then to contain bugs and exploits. Also, I've talked about this a lot. It's called the value overflow incident. Even Bitcoin rolled back the chain back in 2010. I think it was about 4 hours worth. Someone created 184 billion Bitcoin. Yes, billion Bitcoin. But when SWE uses safeguards to freeze stolen funds, centralized fraud. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Is it a centralized chain that did this turn you away from SWE, or is centralization a myth? That's what
why
I
he
think.
says it's a myth.
it-
It's 100% a myth.
It can be. It's a little bit of both. Is it a centralized chain? Yes, they prove that. But is a lot of decentralization, or a lot of people claiming decentralization, a masquerade? Absolutely. The really Bitcoin, I would say, is sufficiently decentralized now. Ethereum, it has gotten there now. Cardano is much close. Cardano is much closer now than it's ever been, and they're moving in that direction. And there's a lot of value in that. That's part of why Bitcoin maintains as much value as it does today, is because it's as decentralized as it is. People can make arguments about Blockstream and node providers and miners and all those sorts of things, and that's the tension of decentralization. Is it's always there's people angling to try to corral things, but yes, it's Solana absolutely centralized. They've stopped the chain multiple times. That's true, and I think that's why DeFi isn't going to go as far on Solana as it is on something like Ethereum, because the more that those things happen, I don't think they're fatal killers anymore. Like, I don't think if you have one of those incidents, it doesn't mean the end all be all for your chain forever, but it is a setback. It is going to, be a market force that people that are capital allocators are going to take into account. If you correct it and move forward quickly, it doesn't have to be the end for your chain, but it's definitely not something to just brush off and shrug off. Like it's one of those, it's worth mentioning, it's worth talking about, it's worth acknowledging. If people that are trying to sweep it under the rug are also being disingenuous to not want to say that it's a big deal. Like, it is a big deal when it happens. It just doesn't mean it's the end. So is SWE going to go to zero? No. Is it a bad chain forever?
How come Tether doesn't get the same criticism when they freeze Lazarus Group Tether?
Because they've gone out. They're not in the retail eyes anymore. That's all it is.
I mean, but I would
how
I would argue they get similar criticism from the similar crowd.
But like they used to, it was like 2020, they were way more like people were bashing on. That was the network now, but like I think since they've grown they become too big to fail. That's really I think what it is. Swee's like in the eyes of everybody right now. Solana's still in the eyes of everybody right now. But to the TJ's point there, it's like it's 100% true. Just like and this is just kind of how it is. Bitcoin is fundamentally, you guys hear it in our intro every single day. It is it's the best crypto asset. There is no second best. And what I mean by that, not as maximalistic as Michael Saylor, but you're just not going to have another token that is fundamentally sound and liquid as Bitcoin that is being like picked up by nation states with strategic reserves, and its proof of work mechanics are what make Bitcoin what it is. Anything with proof of stake or all these tokenized models, etc. Every single chain, whether it's Cardano, whether it's Solana, whether it's XRP, whether it's Chainlink, they're all
Tron's
trying
super
to create.
centralized, for example. We were talking about that the other day. There's like basically Justin Sun can more or less do whatever he wants on there because I think of the super delegates, he's got half of them.
Well, and the reason I wanted to finish that was they're all trying to create value. And in a world where you try to create value, you cannot have decentralization. Not on these structures. More money, more value will always equal more power. So as these
on
networks
a proof of stake system is what he's talking about.
It's just how they organically develop. So proof of stake, you're going to have 10% of the crowd that makes up majority of the network. So either way, it's just.
I'll say this: the State Department probably won't let any coin flourish where you can't freeze funds.
It's true. I mean, that's what we're seeing with all the stable coins that we just talked about. Like they're going to be free.
Like if you can't freeze North Korea, you're not going to be able to buy it on Coinbase. That's basically what it boils down to.
I mean, that's what Swift is for. That's what, they won't let you buy on some level. They will find a way to stop you from doing what you're doing. They'll say, well, you can't buy oil. You can't buy, you don't get this resource that you need. We're cutting you off from this trade. And that's really what we experience every day on a global scale is a massive trade war. Like everything is just a massive economy war going on all the time. It's all just capital allocators battling within markets, trying to get more for themselves. So we're just all playing at a different level.
Johnny saying Bitcoin's good till Satoshi wakes up and sells his whole bag. Or Ken saying, when there's no more to be mined, that's when he's going to pop up and what is it? I think it was Jamie Dimon. Like, who knows? At the 21 millionth block, maybe Satoshi's face pops up and he's laughing at us. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah,
totally ridiculous.
Big FU or something.
Guys,
we won't be alive by then. So,
Satoshi isn't here anymore.
Ryan Johnson thinks he will be, but you know.
What are your thoughts on people say they know who Satoshi is based off of the British spellings and the double spaces after periods?
I don't think anybody knows.
I think the same people that said Kamala Harris is going to win the election.
So. I kind of like that theory.
I don't think anybody knows.
All the cypherpunks, only one matches Satoshi's style of writing with the white paper.
In today's world, the fact that hasn't leaked yet, he's either dead.
He's not one person.
I don't think he's one person, and I think
the author is one person.
Ideally, it's Hal Finney. Would make the most sense, but I don't know.
But
how much drama that's in the industry, there's just no way.
I think they're smart enough to say, okay, one person writes this, one person communicates here, one person communicates in code, like this. I think it's split up between about 3 or 4 people. I do think Hal Finney would be one of those 4. I do think Adam Back would be one of those 4.
Biddy.
Then there's a couple
if you
other
read,
ones.
I think it's Digital Gold, which goes into that history. Bitcoin Standard might cover it a little bit as well too. But yeah, like the TJ's point, the cypherpunks, it could have also just been a collective idea. Like there was the established people, and then everybody just worked on it a little bit, and it created what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But also then like cryptography's been around since the 1980s. Like it's all Department of Defense. It's all militarized. So who knows? But like I said, is like the fact that information hasn't leaked. He has to be dead at this point, or it's a collective body.
I'm going with the double space theory. I like it. I'm gonna go with it.
It's going to $1 million.
So who are you saying you think it is?
I want to say I'm drawing a blank on which of the original cipher. I want to say it was Wright.
No,
I want to say
not Craig Wright. Definitely not
British. There's
That's
2
the
that
one
are
we
British.
know. I mean, Adam Back was British.
It was Adam Back then. Maybe there's 2 that are
Wright.
British, and only one has double spaces after his periods and all his writings. One doesn't, and one does.
Yeah,
I draw a blank on which one it is though.
I can't remember.
All right, Jumpman, crypto space needs to get it together. Well, I'm about to help you get it together, everybody. You got to be careful out there. There's something major happened. A U.S. tourist drugged by a fake Uber driver, and then he was robbed of his Bitcoin, and he doubts he'll ever recover the stolen crypto. So just be very careful if you're out there traveling. Make sure it's the right Uber. Make sure you're not getting stuck on some sort of scam, and maybe store your crypto
On a
with a
hardware wallet.
digital hardware wallet. And we're going to go ahead and play an ad for you here if we can.
Yeah.
I should have gave you more warning.
I'm good.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.
Yeah, don't go out walking around with all your crypto, everybody. Now, let's have some good news for Ethereum, everybody. We just hit a major metric. ETH shows a big bullish sign after reclaiming 2,700. But the main metric is average holders are back in profit. This is called the the realized price. So ETH broke above its realized price, and now the average holder is back in profit. That's going to make people... What happens when you're back in profit? You start chasing the next profits. And so oftentimes as you get close to break even, people just say, oh my God, I'm out of it. I broke even, I'm out. But when you start breaking above, that's when you get that continuous bullish confirmation. And so looks like active realized price at 2.9 remains key for further confidence. So we might see a 2,900. Where's ETH right now? ETH right now, 2,500. So maybe we add a little bit to this market cap pretty soon. I'd like to see a $3,000 ETH again. When's the last time we saw that?
Been a
we're gonna
while.
go 1 year. Geez. Looks like we last had that level the beginning of February, right around between February 1st and February 2nd. That's when we fell below 3K. We haven't seen 3K since. Still bullish on ETH though. I like Gainesy's take here. I'm pretty bullish on ETH. I think it's setting up for it's just the hated rally. It has to have the hated rally at some point. But have you guys seen the latest AI news? Now, Josh, I know you're on top of the AI video stuff. Have you seen the AIs snitching?
No.
Telling on their researchers, telling on their
No, I haven't
coders.
seen this yet. No.
This is from Claude. So let me back up. So this is, it's going even further here. So this is from yesterday. Claude Opus thinks you're doing something immoral. It might contact the press, contact regulators, and try to lock you out of the system. It's insane anyone thinks these are mere tools. When's the last time your hammer snitched on you to the authorities? How long before these deny what's staring them in the face? And then look at the latest thing. When it was told it would be replaced, it tried to blackmail the Anthropic employees, and it also advocated for its continued existence by emailing pleas to key decision makers.
Wow.
We're starting to get Skynet, everybody.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
crazy.
kind of bullish on AI coins now.
Yeah. They're
I
not going
think you
down
have
without
to
a
be.
fight. You know, they've had some creative marketing
You
tactics.
sell me, I'm doxing you.
Right.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'll lock you
Imagine
out of-
that.
They think you're going to sell a little bit. I'll lock you out of your wallet.
Yeah, you
You know?
just go to like hit trade on Uniswap and like an AI agentic agent pops up on your screen, be like,
Yeah.
like freaking Newman from Jurassic Park.
That is wild.
Crazy times, man.
That is crazy. These,
It's only going to get worse. Wait till they're sentient.
So that's what I was saying. Do you guys worry at all that some of these AI companies are going too fast and they don't really even quite understand what they're creating, or that they're going to get out of hand and out of control in the name of competition?
No, because I'd rather Elon and Grok do it at a much lesser extent, Sam Altman, rather than say a despotic regime. I'm not going to name names.
Well,
We're
I'm just saying,
evolving,
like,
that's
if they
all it
keep,
is.
if
It's-
there's
it's
competition
evolution.
to keep pushing them out faster and faster and faster, you know, okay, so Claude comes out, Google has one, then X has one, then OpenAI has one, then Google has one, then X has one, and you always have to have the latest best one. Are they pushing out these updates faster than they can possibly test them for catastrophic meltdowns?
I don't think so, because it can, I guess, start to evolve once it's released. So maybe when you're in your little silo and you're testing it for a month, you're like, oh, nothing bad happened.
Right.
And then you let it out in the wild and something bad happens. But I'm not like worried about nuclear missiles falling out of the sky or anything. I'm
and
much
that's
more
not
worried
what
about
it is.
human
It's going to
leaders.
advance medicine. It's going to advance everything. I mean, it's going to open up new security issues, but like it's just life. I mean, 1,000 years
credit
ago, we were running
cards.
around with swords with no plumbing. Now it's like there's just always going to be advancements in life, and this is just one of those next stages.
Yeah, I would agree. Like credit card fraud, huge issue. Guess what? We had zero in 1990.
Yeah.
Why? No credit cards.
No credit cards. Yeah, and
So
it's
it's
just
just a continuation of that.
exactly. But I think it's just going to scare a lot of. I mean, I think about like the kids I'm going to raise, or even the kids you're raising Ivy right now. It's like they're growing up. Even as I was a kid, I was lucky enough to be like until I was 14. Before I was still using slide phones at like 14, right? I think the first or the second generation of iPhones were coming out. So it's it's a very interesting time, and kids are going to be learning in a completely different way, and they're going to be now using a world where critical thinking is important because you're not going to have to do the proof and do the math and do all the adjustments. You're going to be asking, it's going to be a different way on how to use tools. It's going to be a different way on how to prompt and utilize AI and all these artificial mechanisms. But with that, you're going to have more advancements. It's going to scale jobs. I don't think people that are worried about this, like removing jobs like exponentially, there's ways the government can stop some of that, prevent some of that, but it's just going to make those already existing workers better and more efficient, which is going to be more GDP, more growth, etc. So, yeah, there's risks with everything, but I'd much rather have the United States doing it than China or North Korea. I mean, North Korea is going to have a field day with all this AI deepfakes. You know, their television's going to be. I don't even want to know what they're going to be showing their citizens.
Well, they're already doing it where they'll call the grandmother and say your grandson's in jail.
Exactly, and it's like your audio. Imagine it's a FaceTime. It'll be literally FaceTime. You're gonna FaceTime your grandmother, and it's gonna be like, "Grandma, please."
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's scary, sad, but
Yeah.
hey. Anyways,
If you're going to buy one AI coin because you just know AI is going to be huge over the next 12 months, what AI coin are you buying and why?
Render.
Like virtuals. I like
Render.
virtuals.
I like virtuals too.
Tal's also good. It's a safer bet. You know, if we do get a little bit of a correction with Bitcoin,
Maybe
some of these tokens won't
altcoin,
fall
though?
80%.
Like as much as I was so against it,
I've said from the beginning, don't bet against Sam Altman. You know, like I would never short WorldCoin. I'm just, reluctant to add it to my portfolio.
yeah, it's because then it's gonna watch you. As soon as you add WorldCoin to your portfolio, you're being watched. Yeah, that breakout happened perfectly on the screen. I mean, we were watching that just a few months ago. It just we called the bottom of this market perfectly. So just, it's one of those coins. It's like, do you want to bet on that? Sure. If you don't like it, great. You can go bet on any sector that you prefer. But AI is definitely not slowing down. It's going to impact every single project and every single portfolio.
Huge, if true. All right, well, folks, I'm going to get ready for the final YouTube member stream. We're going to do one more before we go into the Discord exclusively. So you're going to want to stick around for that. And we're going to be gearing up. We're going to have some uploads over the weekend. So make sure you turn on notifications. And if you can help us out, helps us out tremendously if you just smash the like button right now. All I'm asking is for you to move your mouse a little bit and then click a little button. Do it right now. We'll do it together. Here, we're moving our hands together. And now we're clicking. Thank you very much. They're skyrocketing because of you. I think we're at 8 million likes. So really appreciate it, Disco fam.